Hey yo, YouTube! Welcome to my channel, Everyday Oppression. So, sorry about the lateness in uploading a video for Sunday because I got busy with family and the lawnmower race was a great success. Apparently one of my YouTube subscribers, Simon Banks, suggested me to do a Riley Dennis video, so I'm going to watch that and then comment on it for your entertainment. He says, Justin strikes again. Please respond to this link here.
Let's go through a little hypothetical situation.
Ugh.
Get back. I've got soap, and I'm not afraid to use it. Back off, creature. Back to the pit from whence you came.
It looks like Riley Dennis has actually done some cosmetic surgery and looks a little bit more feminine. So I guess this proves that Riley is no longer a trans trender, but actually a transgender person. Wow.
Wow.
Anyway, guys, this isn't about her appearance and everything, so let's tackle what she's about to say, shall we?
Let's say a lesbian and a bisexual woman meet at a bar. They talk for a couple hours and they both really like each other. They both think the other one is really attractive and nice and funny and smart.
Well, you know, most lesbians are attracted to women.
And they click really well together. But then, towards the end of the night, the bisexual woman mentions something about an ex-boyfriend. And when the lesbian asks her about it, she says that she's bi. So the lesbian woman gets mad. She thinks that's gross and feels like she's wasted her time, so she storms off without saying a word.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. You can't determine what somebody's gonna feel on a first date.
This kind of situation is really common. All the bisexual people I know have some kind of story about how lesbians or gay men have suddenly become disinterested in them after finding out that they're bi.
You know, I have the exact same problem. Being androgynous, I get hit on a lot by women who are lesbians. You guys actually don't realize how often I get hit on by lesbians because they actually see me as a lesbian because I'm androgynous, and then when they find out I'm a man, they want nothing to do with me.
That's textbook biphobia. That's discriminating against someone for no other reason than their sexual orientation.
Oh my god, another victim story. Riley.
And this kind of biphobia is rampant in the LGBT plus community.
Yeah, and it's rampant in the straight community. It's rampant in the disabled community. It's rampant in the black community. It's rampant everywhere.
Like, obviously this is a problem with straight people too, but I think we can all acknowledge when straight people are being biphobic. If a straight girl doesn't want to date a guy because she thinks it's gross that he's bisexual, that's pretty obviously biphobic.
Yeah, it's called preferences. Remember this whole thing that we've done before about preferences? Nobody owes anybody else sex.
That guy's bisexuality wouldn't hurt her in any way, but she still feels disgusted by it.
And she has that right.
And vice versa, if a straight guy didn't want to date a bisexual girl because he didn't like the idea that she's had romantic feelings for girls, that's obvious biphobia.
Actually, a lot of straight guys are kind of into girls who are into other girls. Why do you think they watch lesbian porn?
When it's within the queer community, we seem to think this kind of behavior is okay for some reason. Tons of lesbians and gay men have no problem saying they would never date a bisexual person.
Yeah, I've been rejected because of that fact. I've said that I'm interested in both guys and girls, and they get turned off. You know what I do? Move on.
When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
And that really just leads to the further exclusion and marginalization of bi people. Even bisexual people can be biphobic.
Oh, so everybody's biphobic, right, Riley? Everyone around you is phobic of something. Oh my goodness.
Amber Rose said she would never date a bisexual man because it makes her uncomfortable. Like, what? How does that make any sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. Some people have lines, and there's a certain things in regards to these lines that some people will cross, and some people just don't want to accommodate those lines.
And just so you understand my perspective, I'm a lesbian. I'm a woman who's really only attracted to women.
No, you're a trans woman, not a real woman. You were born a male, transitioning to become female, and now you're looking more feminine. Don't lie to us.
Granted, I'm a trans woman, so my experience is different than that of cis women.
Great. I'm glad that you acknowledge that.
But I can't imagine why someone wouldn't want to date a bisexual woman. So I did some research and found a few reasons that lesbians and gay men cite for not wanting to date bisexuals. And now we can talk about why they're all bullshit. Number one, I'm worried that they'll leave me for someone of a different gender. The thing is, whether you get dumped for someone of the same gender or a different gender doesn't really matter. If they break up with you, who they date afterwards is none of your business.
Yeah, actually, that makes a good point.
It doesn't affect you. And whether they're gay or bi, they could break up with you for someone else. Or they could stay in a long-term relationship with you. Bisexual people are just as diverse in their relationships as gay people.
Oh my god, yes!
Some bi people end up in happy, long-term, committed relationships. Others don't. And the same can be said for gay people.
So we're all biphobic, transphobic, homophobic. We all experience internalized phobia of some kind. and we can all share these different types of relationships. We're all the same already. That means we're equal. Yay!
And I've heard people say that bisexual people have twice the chance of leaving you because they have twice as many options. But that doesn't make any sense.
No, it really doesn't.
Like, first of all, if your relationship is just you being constantly paranoid that your partner is going to leave you, it's probably not a very healthy relationship in the first place.
No, that means that person is either very jealous, envious, control freak, has some mental issues. Some people are just that way. Like myself.
But also, by that logic, just being around more people would make your partner more likely to leave you for someone else.
You know, you are so concerned about what other people are doing and screwing. Like, you should really focus on yourself.
Wow.
Like, being with a gay person in a densely populated, largely gay area like West Hollywood would make them more likely to leave you than if you were with a bisexual person in a smaller city.
Yeah. You know who I say are the best people to date, ladies and gentlemen? Farmers. Farmer people, they are hard workers, they're dedicated, they are like a step away from everything that is urban and crazy. Usually they don't have a lot of drama, and they are dedicated to their partners. And also, most of the time, farmers like to start families.
If your plan to keep your partner involves limiting the number of people they come into contact with, not a great relationship. Whether your partner is gay or bi, you should be able to trust them around other people. Just because someone is bi doesn't mean they're going to leave you for the next person they see.
Wow, that's one of the sanest things you ever said.
Number 2, they're not 100% gay, and that makes me uncomfortable. A really common misconception about bisexual people is that they only feel 50% attraction towards one gender and 50% attraction towards other genders.
You know, for me, personally, I think I'm about 70% men and 30% women. Do I fit in that mold that you're creating, Riley?
In reality, they feel 100% attraction to all of those genders. Just because someone likes boys and girls doesn't mean that they like boys less than someone who exclusively likes boys.
And how do you know?
And if the fact that someone can feel attraction to multiple genders makes you uncomfortable, that's just your own internal prejudice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know. And it's for you to get over. The thing you don't understand is that only you are responsible for your own feelings, and everyone else is responsible for theirs. So if you are chaotic with your feelings right now, you're responsible with keeping them in check.
That's just like the discomfort that straight people feel when they see 2 men kiss or 2 women kiss. Just because your knee-jerk reaction to something is to feel uncomfortable, that doesn't mean it's wrong or bad.
No, it just means that you're not used to something. You haven't been exposed to something. For some people, when they get into a state of uncomfortableness, they just reject that thing that's making them uncomfortable. They want to move away from it, and that is okay. Some people who are a little bit more willing to deal with said uncomfortable situation, they will actually break out of their shell and test the grounds. So everybody's different. So who cares?
It might just mean you need to think about why it makes you uncomfortable and try to work through your own ingrained biphobia.
So that everybody can just sleep with you? Is that right, Riley?
We're all raised in a heteronormative society, so it's not unusual to have that initial reaction. But it's important to question it and to try and change it.
Try and change it? Why don't you just accept people for who they are?
Number 3, I'm afraid they'll cheat on me with someone of another gender. Cheating sucks, there's no way around that, but bisexual people are not more likely to cheat than gay people. It comes back to what we talked about in the first question. Do you think that your partner having more potential options around makes them more likely to cheat? Then you probably just don't trust them and don't have a very healthy relationship.
Yeah, but trust is a personal thing. A lot of us who are younger who want to fall in love with that one person, and then they don't trust that person 100% because they're not used to or being exposed to the plethora of different types of relationships out there. So people think that when they find the one and they fall in love, that is the one. That is it. That's all.
Go home, folks.
That's all she wrote, people. Way to go. There is such a thing as a person who is attached to the hip. You don't want to be a clinger. Don't be a clinger, people. So having trust is both ways. Like, you have to let your partner be who they are. And if you try to constrict who they are, aka not accept them, that's where a lot of issues happen. I had to learn that the hard way myself, so. But that comes with age.
I've seen a lot of people say that they were cheated on once by a bisexual, so they'll never date a bisexual again. But that's the exact kind of stereotyping that cishet people do to queer people. They see one gay person do something and assume all gay people do the same thing.
Oh, just like you assume that all straight people are homophobic? Or you assume that all lesbians who don't want to sleep with you are transphobic?
I know. It's called a cruel irony, like my dependence on you.
You don't think about this shit. You don't think about it. You're crazy.
Yeah, some bisexual people cheat, but a lot of them don't. Some gay people cheat too.
Some gay people cheat too. Have you ever been to the gay community?
Cheating isn't exclusive to any sexual orientation. And if you're insecure because you think someone of a different gender could offer your partner something that you can't, then you really just need to work on your own insecurity. Every person, regardless of their gender, offers something different in a relationship. If a bisexual person has chosen to be in a relationship with you, it's because they love being in a relationship with you.
Yay! Oh, it's a fairy tale come to life.
It's not like they're constantly being tempted by other possible relationships any more than a gay person would be. Again, not all bi people stay in long-term relationships, but many of them do. And it's an insult to those people to say that bisexual people are always cheating with someone of a different gender.
And who the fuck cares?
But you don't care.
God damn it.
This is a case where you need to work on your own insecurities rather than blaming bisexual people. Number 4, I think it's gross that the person has had sex with or kissed someone of a different gender. This one is really harsh because it kind of assumes that once you've kissed someone or had sex with someone, you're contaminated for the rest of your life.
Now, contaminated being like get food poisoning or like STIs. You need to be specific here.
Like the idea that you once did something weeks or months or years ago somehow makes you unattractive in the present? That makes no sense.
You're adding a lot more drama to this whole thing than is necessary. Like,
if you date a gay person, you don't have to be attracted to all of their exes, and the same goes for bi people. What they did before doesn't affect you. And yes, that attraction to other genders will always be there, but it doesn't hurt you in any way, it's just a part of who they are.
Thanks for the lesson, Doc.
And this one doesn't even only affect bisexual people. Plenty of lesbians date men before they come out, and the same goes for gay men dating women before they come out. There are lesbians who have had sex with men. There are gay men who've had sex with women.
Yay. Now, if you're a gay male who has never had sex with a woman and is despised by the female genitalia, aka lavage, then you are what's known as a gold star gay.
You better work that
Doesn't contaminate them, and it doesn't make them any less gay. Saying that someone's only desirable if they haven't been with someone of another gender before is harmful to so many people who had trouble figuring out their sexuality or who needed to be in the closet for their safety.
Why do you view it as harmful? That's my question. Why is it automatically bad?
Number 5, I don't like greedy people, and bisexuals are greedy because they want both a man and a woman. I don't even know how to make an argument for this one.
Because it's 2015.
It's just not true.
Neither are the 76 genders that you people like to come up with.
Bisexual people are not greedy, it's just their sexual orientation. This is a really common stereotype that's basically saying that sexual orientation is a choice, that bisexual people choose to be attracted to multiple genders because they're greedy.
No. The thing with sexuality and sexual orientation is that I believe that we are born as gay, straight, or bisexual, and sexual attraction can occur randomly throughout years or time. So, like, you could be attracted to only men for most of your life and thus identify as gay, but maybe somewhere along the way, you happen to be attracted to a woman. You may not be interested in fucking that woman, mind you, but you are still attracted to a woman. There's different levels of attraction. There's sexual attraction, there's romantic attraction, there's awe or respect type of attraction where you can just be attracted to a person based on who they are.
Obviously, that's bullshit. Sexual orientation isn't a choice. Being gay or being bi isn't a choice.
No, and I agree with you here. There is an element of choice, though, and the element of choice in this regards is whether or not you pursue what your natural attraction is. So, for instance, we'll use closet gays. Anybody who's a male who is gay, who has an attraction to men, a sexual attraction to men, and wants to pursue relationships with men and just strictly men, there's some males who are against that and they remain in the closet because they don't want to be outed as a homosexual. The choice in that is hiding in the closet or breaking out of the closet and coming out in order to live their life in a happier way. So there is an element of choice to sexuality. It's whether or not you are open or in the closet about it. So the attraction itself is natural. It's what you choose to do with that attraction and allow other people around you to see that attraction in a public eye. That's the choice.
Bisexual people aren't greedy for just being honest about who they can be attracted to.
No, people are just greedy in general.
Number 6, I don't waste my time with confused bi-curious people who call themselves bisexual. I've seen a lot of folks get hurt by someone and then generalize that to all bisexuals. Like, some people do experiment with their sexuality, and some people have a more fluid sexuality.
Basically, she's talking about bi-curiosity and trying to see what it's like to date someone of the same sex, of the same gender. This is bi-curious people. I actually think there should be room for people to explore their sexuality. I think everybody should have a little bit of wiggle room, to try things out. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. I actually applaud both men and women who are willing to admit that they've gone and had some sort of experience, sexual or romantic, with someone of the same gender and then still turn out to be straight. Like, I think that's brilliant. Because it's just being honest, right? And, they're comfortable with themselves and their own sexuality in order to admit that to the world around them.
Some folks use bisexual as a label for some period of time and then later switch to a different label that feels better. These kinds of folks are often labeled as confused and then generalized to all bisexual.
Generalized to all bisexuals. Yep, you gotta love those generalizations. Like how women are always victims, men are always rapists, Muslims are always terrorists. That last one is true, though.
But so many bisexuals are very confident in their sexual orientation.
Yep. And people are attracted to confident people. Me, I label as bisexual because even though I've had more male relationships, I am attracted to women. I do love... I'm a tits and ass kind of guy. I'm just going to put that out there right now. It's just that I don't get a lot of straight women interested in me, so I don't have a lot of opportunity to have a straight relationship. I've had 2 girlfriends in my past during college, and I would love to just have a straight relationship, but currently I'm in a healthy, happy relationship with a man. And if I have something good, why would I screw that up?
Being bisexual doesn't automatically mean being confused. Sure, there are people who are confused and who identify as bisexual for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of confused people who identify as transgender or, a cat or a unicorn or a deer or a dragon or a lamp. So really, we're all a little bit confused here, and we have to, again, tolerate people's journey to discovering their sexuality, discovering their gender, if you will. But 76 genders, come on.
But for one, that's understandable because sexuality is confusing and finding out who you are can be hard. But also, those people don't represent all bisexuals. If a bisexual person tells you that they're confident, that they like multiple genders, and they're not confused or experimenting, you should believe them.
Technically, this is a good point, so I'll give you this one, Riley.
Number 7, I only want to date other gay/lesbian people because gay/lesbian culture is important to me. The problem with this argument is that lots of gay people don't want to be a part of gay or lesbian culture.
Yep. Advice to gay people: avoid the gay community. They're catty fucks.
Meanwhile, lots of bisexual people would love to be a part of that culture. If you're gay, I'm sure you've met the kind of gay person who doesn't want to be associated with the gay community, and who doesn't ever want to talk about being gay, and who doesn't want to go to Pride, and who openly dislikes the hypervisibility of the gay community.
I've been to Pride. I've partaken in Pride. I've had my fun. But in my old age of 31 years old, going on 32, the thing is that I'm getting older now, so I'm kind of getting more conservative in regards to representation of gay life in the gay community. I don't like seeing dykes on bikes. I don't like seeing guys dressed up with a dog collar and gag in their mouth, flouncing around, shaking their booty, and their junk is in my face. These are complete strangers. And to me, these are grown adults who are acting very childish, and that makes me uncomfortable. That's right. It makes me uncomfortable. Maybe because I'm an old fart, or maybe because I've just become more conservative, but I just don't like seeing that side of the gay community because this is the type that is always represented in the media, in pop culture, and a lot of straight people are exposed to this. And the fact is that we have more conservative type gays who just want a simple life. They're just like everyone else, okay? They want to find a partner, possibly settle down, maybe start a family, and they just want to live their life without having people judge them based on the stereotypes that they are being exposed to because of people in Pride.
These people exist. I've met plenty of them.
You've met plenty of them? I'm sure you have.
Whether gay culture and visibility is a good or a bad thing is an argument for another video, but I think it's safe to say that not all gay people like to consider themselves a part of gay culture.
And I've become one of them. I've actually been rejected and unfriended by a lot of my gay friends because of the views I hold in regards to traditional families, in regards to gay marriage, in regards to not being a victim in the gay community. So just because I'm a minority doesn't mean I'm a victim. And I really want the gay community, both gays and lesbians, to really feel empowered and self-empower themselves by being more confident and developing a thicker skin for when they get backlash from people like calling them mean names or harassment, that they are confident enough to stand up against it and move on with their lives. Unfortunately, I find that a lot of more liberal gays and lesbians tend to fall back on the victim narrative that, oh my God, I'm a minority, I'm a victim because of A and B. So I'm more tired of that, and I want gay people to empower themselves and not give a shit. Not everybody can be helped. Unfortunately, that is the truth of life, but that's the way it is.
Meanwhile, there are a lot of bisexual people who love being a part of the queer community but feel excluded in spaces that are specifically for gay men or lesbians.
Whatever, you'll find new places. Like, get over it.
If lesbian spaces were more welcoming to all queer women and gay men spaces were more welcoming to all queer men, then this wouldn't be an issue. Just like gay people, some bisexual people would distance themselves from the community and others would love to be a part of it. So the exclusion becomes kind of a catch-22. Bisexuals aren't a part of the community because they don't feel welcome, but nobody is willing to make the community more welcoming to bisexual people.
So basically, both in the straight and gay community, a lot of people are judgmental, and a lot of people will exclude you if you are different. What you were describing, Riley, is tribalism.
I think labels are important. I'm not one of those people who thinks that labels divide us. I think labels are important for finding community and ways of describing ourselves, but in this case, using the labels gay and lesbian to exclude other queer people feels like an unnecessary division.
An unnecessary division. Again, it's natural. It's going to happen. You are going to gravitate to people who think like you, who act like you, who share the same beliefs as you, and that is okay. You don't speak for everyone, Riley, and I know that your heart is in the right place. That's why I can't blame you right now. I don't blame you for trying, but you're young, you're naive, and a lot of your ideas stem from this ideological standpoint where everyone is equal. Everyone's the same. And the truth is, Riley, to which you have yet to accept, is that it's not true.
We're all different, and we have different labels and experiences, and that's okay. But we're all queer. We all fall under the LGBT+ umbrella. And I think it's necessary that we all stick together. When cis lesbians and cis gay men start to turn their backs on the rest of us, I feel like it really harms our community as a whole.
We're actually not turning our backs on you. A lot of us are trying to lead you into a state of your own self-confidence. We want you to be empowered. Me personally, I like talking with a lot of my gay friends and a lot of my lesbian friends who are too emotional or too insecure about their labels or about their lives, about relationships. And I'm trying to get them to understand that, you know, life is difficult. Life is not fair. It will never be fair. No matter what we say or do, it will never be fair. And once you know this and realize that you're not here on this planet to appease everybody. I used to be a people pleaser back in my youth, and I would always put more out and never get anything back in. And then that's where depression hit or sadness hit, because I had high expectations of everyone around me and they weren't being met. Stop worrying so much about other people and worry about yourself. It is okay to be selfish. Remember that.
We should be sticking up for and including all kinds of queer people, not just cis gay men and cis lesbians. So it's okay if gay or lesbian culture is important to you. I think that's great, but I don't think it's a reason to not like bisexual people.
Stop telling us what to do, Riley. Just stop.
They're queer too, and they're a part of queer culture. If you don't think they're a part of gay or lesbian culture, do everything you can to make that culture more welcoming for them. And don't make it even more exclusive by saying you'd never date them.
It's always just a one-on-one experience. You will never know until you actually communicate or interact with that one person. If you guys mesh, great. And if you don't, it's not the end of the world.
Number 8. Following the logic of this argument, lesbians have to date men and gay men have to date women. Otherwise, they're prejudiced. You're basically advocating conversion therapy light.
Yeah, you kind of are. You're shaming cisgendered people for not dating a transgendered person because they're transphobic. You are saying that lesbians have to give trans women a try. You are saying gay men have to give trans men a try. Nobody has to. Nobody is obligated to make another person happy. So you don't understand this.
This is the most ridiculous argument. Sexual orientation and dating preferences are not the same thing. This is a slippery slope argument. Like, it's saying that if dating preferences can be changed, then sexual orientation can be changed in the same way. But that's not what I'm arguing at all.
Yeah, but you often come off as such. And a lot of people, both in the straight community and the gay community, are pointing this out to you. But you are not listening.
And this slippery slope kind of argument is the same flawed logic that homophobes use to discriminate against gay people.
You know, as an LGBT member, and I believe firmly in freedom of speech, I support people who are against my sexuality. I support people who are either religious or for other reasons against homosexuality. I may not agree with that, but I support your right to think that way. And I support your right to say that.
They say, well, if men can have sex with men, that means that men can have sex with animals. But there's just no connection between gay sex and bestiality.
Oh, you haven't checked the internet well enough, have you?
And likewise, there's no connection between changing certain dating preferences and changing sexual orientation. Dating preferences are, to some degree, innate, and to some degree shaped by the world around us.
Yeah, that's true.
They're both nature and nurture, and it's hard to tease out which of those is in play at any given time. Like, if you're mostly attracted to tall men, it's hard to know if that's just an innate preference you have, or if you've been socialized by a lot of our media telling you that tall men are attractive and short men are not.
You know, I've had both tall men and short men, and it really is about how big their dick is.
Saturday nights, distant lights, you, your girl, and your Johnson.
But it is possible that you could change that preference by having bad experiences with tall men and having good experiences with short men. Eventually, you might come to find short men more attractive. Or if you grew up in a culture that depicts short men as attractive, you'd probably find short men more attractive than if you grew up in a culture that depicts tall men as attractive.
Yeah, we're all brainwashed. Whatever.
In these ways, dating preferences can often change quite a lot and depend on the culture and the media that you grow up with. On the other hand, trying to change someone's sexual orientation is proven to not work, and it can be extremely harmful to the person. In 2008, all of these organizations endorsed a report that said the nation's leading professional medical, health, and mental health organizations do not support efforts to change young people's sexual orientation through therapy and have raised serious concerns about the potential harm from such efforts.
Yes. Stop forcing these kids to be gay or because it's part of your agenda. Stop forcing these kids to feel shame for being straight when you're a lesbian couple, right? And you want your kid to be gay too. You forcing your ideas onto our children instead of just accepting them, it creates a lot of problems. Okay, we want to build smart, talented, confident, and happy people. And the more that we allow them to discover that themselves instead of us forcing our ideas on them, the better off society will be.
Plus, there are gay people all over the world in every culture, so the argument can't be made that culture or media changes someone's sexual orientation. Some people who grow up in extremely heteronormative societies end up identifying as gay.
Yeah, but the majority of human beings are heterosexual. They are the majority. It is the norm. And if you are a queer, you are not part of that norm. It doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you evil. It doesn't make you dirty. It just means that you're different. So once we teach gay people, queer people, that this is okay, that you are no less of a human being, it will be fine. There will be obstacles and people against you. So we need to warn them about that, I believe, so that they're better prepared with trying to find their own path to their own happiness.
Sexual orientation is much, much more innate than dating preferences, and claiming that the two are the same is drawing a false equivalence between them. Not to mention that when it comes to bisexual people, they're physically not any different from gay people or straight people.
Well, no, we're all meat popsicles.
You can't look at someone and know that they're bi, so your attraction to them on a physical level doesn't have anything to do with their sexual orientation. The only thing you have to judge them on is the stereotypes about bisexual people that you have in your head when they tell you they're bisexual. And there's no question that people hold implicit biases and stereotypes. We all do, but changing them is hard, and we still haven't identified the best ways to do that yet.
There's a huge diversity of people, Riley. Not everyone is all the same, okay? It's not a cookie cutter kind of thing. Everyone must discover their own preferences through experimentation or lack of experimentation. Both are okay in my books.
This is supported by a meta-analysis of 494 studies that in total looked at over 80,000 participants, and the researchers found that implicit bias can be changed, but haven't identified reliable long-term solutions for changing them. So further research in that field is needed.
Is it needed? I think we could just accept people for who they are. I accept straight guys who are not attracted to guys. That's pretty simple. I also accept lesbian women who are not attracted to men. I also accept that. Why? Because it's not that important. Why am I so concerned with other people's sexual lifestyles or orientations? Why? Because it's all about me.
At the moment, it seems one of the best solutions is to simply be around people of different groups and to be around people who defy your stereotypes. So just being friends with or acquaintances with more bisexual people is likely to change your perception of bisexual people, especially if they aren't what you typically imagine a bisexual person to be.
It's actually my hopes that a lot of my subscribers or anybody who happens to cross this video understands that I'm not a typical bisexual, right? So like, we have different types, and I'm hoping that my commentary and my channel will showcase to you not all LGBTs are these crazies. They're not always self-centered. They're not always narcissistic. It's my hopes that by watching this video and listening to my experiences and my opinions that you will understand that I'm just like you. I'm a regular human being who wants to be loved, who wants to have the chance to showcase that love to another partner and live a happy life. A lot of us are confused and a lot of us are still insecure, but if we find confidence in ourselves and what we want and be confident in that, I hope that we can all relate with one another and get along just fine.
A meta-analysis of 515 studies found that contact between two groups reduced prejudice between those two groups. So given that research shows that sexual orientation cannot be changed while implicit biases and stereotypes can be changed, I think it's pretty obvious that they are not equivalent. And because I know how people are going to twist my words and misconstrue my argument, let me address some things right now. I am not saying that you have to date bisexual people or you're a bigot. Would you date a trans person? Honestly? Think about it for a second. Okay, got your answer? Well, if you said no, I'm sorry, but that's pretty discriminatory. I'm saying that if the only reason you won't date someone who you otherwise really like is that they're bisexual, that reasoning is harmful and prejudiced and biphobic.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Kronk, why did I think you could do this? This one simple thing. It's like I'm talking to a monkey.
Oh, now.
A really, really big, stupid monkey named
Riley. And you're proving my point right now. You just see this as not just as it is. You're seeing it as harmful. You're seeing it as transphobic. You're seeing it as homophobic. You're seeing it as the negative of something positive. You are always in a state of negativity, Riley, and this is why we criticize you. This is why a lot of us, both on the gay and straight spectrum, disagree with you. And I think a lot of it is because you're young and naive. And once you learn about this, once you grow up, then things will be different.
I am not saying that you are biphobic. I mean, you might be, but I think a lot of this stuff is just biases that we've all internalized thanks to growing up in a heteronormative society.
Yeah, because it's the norm. There are more heterosexual people than there are bisexuals, androsexuals, whatever type of sexuals out there. So because we are part of a minority, of course we're going to be exposed to the majority, which is heterosexual.
And maybe you've never heard of this or even thought about this before. I'm not saying that makes you a bad person. I'm just saying that you really need to think about why you don't like bisexual people and figure out if that stems from biphobic stereotypes that simply aren't true.
You think too much.
Also, the title of this video is only Not Dating Bisexual People is Biphobic, because not dating bisexual people solely because their bi is biphobic is too long of a title. I think there are plenty of situations where someone would never date a bisexual person, but rejecting a bisexual person who you would otherwise like just because they're bisexual, that's what's biphobic.
Biphobic, homophobic, heterophobic, phobiaphobic, everything is phobic to you, Riley. Get over it.
So that's everything I had for today. If you're interested, I've linked to some articles in the description for further reading about all of this. And in the comments, if you're bisexual, tell me about your dating experiences with lesbians and gay men. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
All right, so to answer Riley's question is my experiences as a bisexual in the dating world. I don't get a lot of straight women interested in me because I'm more effeminate versus more masculine, and I understand this, and I've grown to accept this. I have more lesbians who hit on me and more older men who hit on me versus, you know, men who look my type or my age. I get a lot of lesbians who hit on me thinking I'm a lesbian, and then when I tell them that I am in fact a male, they are disinterested right away. So the only types of lesbians that I get are bull dykes. I don't even get the lipstick lesbians. Like, where are you ladies? I'll give Riley Dennis some credit here. This one was actually pretty in-depth. I think there was a lot of points wrong that she got, but there was a lot of more even base and acceptance of how people pursue relationships, their sexual orientation, and whether or not we can be confident in that. So I'll give credit where credit is due. I still think you're a little bit delusional and always focusing on the negative. You're always focusing on things being harmful, or if somebody doesn't accept someone, that automatically makes them a bad person. But it doesn't. I'm waiting for the day that you actually realize the things that you said in the past couple of years and apply that to real life and understand that you were on this planet, Riley, to make yourself happy. You are not responsible for anyone else, okay? I know that I'm responsible for my own happiness and my little kitty. And that's about it. So I'm responsible for the happiness of me, my partners, my family, of course, and my friends. Strangers, I don't really care.
Ouch. And do you want to know something else? I've never liked your spinach puffs. Never!
There you go, guys. I hope you have a great one. This one might be a little bit long, but we'll go with that. So enjoy the rest of your day. Take care of one another, and I will see you all next time.
When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.